Good evening. What's going on, guys? You know I'm coming on. It ain't no Miz in the midday or, around the NFL. Just schmooze some football. Something I like to do when things are bothering me. You know, when I'm being annoyed by something that has to do with football, it's Miz in the car. But hey, been a Giant fan since 1985 when I was a little 9-year-old kid. Just had no influence in my family for them. My father wasn't an American sports fan. He was a soccer fan. Diehard soccer fan. And he would watch some of the baseball and football, but really wasn't any major fan of anybody. Just caught on with the Giants. Just something about the Giants I fell in love with, man. You know, Lawrence Taylor, dude, man. Phil Simms. You know, a lot of those guys. McConkey back in the day. Mark Bavaro. I mean, dude, we could go on and on. Mark Collins, Leonard Marshall, bro. Carson Banks, Pepper Johnson, Leonard Marshall. I loved him. I've always loved the big guy, man. Leonard Marshall, Keith Hamilton, Dexter Lawrence. I mean, the Giants have been a factory of beast defensive tackles. And the league should thank us because what we do is we develop them over 3-4 years and then hand them over to other teams. Right? I mean, Tomlinson, Levon Joseph. We could go on and on. Griffin to Washington, right? Washington loves to pick out apples at defensive tackles. They've been doing that for years. But too bad they don't have the passion, the heart that the New York Football Giant does when it wears its blue jersey. A matter of fact, I'll make a case here that the Washington fucking Deadskins have no heart at all. They've been lost in the pitch dark for over 30 years. That once proud franchise. The Hogs. The Washington Redskins. Not the Commandos, the Condoms, all this bullshit Washington team. They can't find themselves anymore because they can't find a name for themselves. Who are you? What are you? Dude. Go back to your name, the Redskins. It doesn't offend anybody. Enough with the bullshit that goes on across this country. People need to get up and go lift some dumbbells. You guys are soft, man. Fucking soft-ass, weak people. The younger generation is... man, I'm not even going to go into this whole spiel. Because you know I'll go on here for hours. People think this is a big game Sunday. The Giants are playing the Jets. New York versus New York. You know, it's a big rivalry. It's not a big rivalry. It should be a big rivalry. That's the fucking issue. It's not a big rivalry. You know why? Because both teams suck. Facts. You want to get yourself high, you're happy, you're coming to the game. A lot of people are going to be there. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Priorities come first, and right now that would be picking something that's not a priority over what should be a priority, but that's not for this video. Don't really give a damn. Wouldn't be coming up for the game anyway. Wanted to come up and meet people that have been part of my world for the last 4 or 5 years. Good guys on YouTube, good people on Twitter. And a lot of football fans. And nothing means more to my heart than coming back home. Home is New York City. Brooklyn, Staten Island. The whole metro area. Miss that place. Ain't the same over here. But the Giants are not good, man. The Giants are a bad football team. I don't care if we won last week. We should have shut them out. The defense the last 2 weeks is playing damn good football. Impressive, holding Buffalo to 0 through 3 quarters. Up in Buffalo in a primetime game. Whether the refs made the decision to take the game away from us or not, we lost. It's an L in the L column. Yeah, I'm keeping it real. Right now, today, okay, on Tuesday night, 5 days before the Jets-Giants game, the Snoopy Bowl. Yo, do you know what the fuck the Snoopy Bowl sounds like to the rest of the country? Do you know how stupid and ridiculous that sounds? Do you guys understand? That's embarrassing. The Snoopy Bowl. Bro, that sounds like 2 fucking cartoon teams getting together with leather helmets back in the days when the field goal post was on the 1 yard line. Yo, that's not funny. It's embarrassing. It's demeaning, man. It's belittling us, the New York Football Giants. But then again, if you take away last year, and those of us who really understand football knows last year wasn't really who we are. It was a good year, don't take it away, but the Giants were not that team yet. They were not going the extra miles this year. Maybe we deserve to be called the Snoopy Bowl. Because, yo, we've been a fucking Snoopy for like a decade, brothers. Face the facts, bro. You can't stop the train when it's going 100 miles an hour, brother. And we haven't been 100 miles an hour since 2011. Those are the facts. So you got a big game with the Jets. Why is it a big game? Because the Jet fans think they're going to the Super Bowl. The Jets actually think they're a Super Bowl team. I mean, you know, it's been 15 fucking years since the Jets have won a playoff game. So I guess they got to hang their hats on something. Or else they'd have no reason to watch the team anymore. Yo, the Jets defense is one of the best in football. It is. But as a whole, including the head coach, the Jets at best are an average 500 team. Let's be real. Can the Jets get to 9 wins this year? Yeah, they can. It's the NFL, man. But you're not a team. You're not a good team. You're not a Super Bowl team. Go win a playoff game, then we'll have a conversation. And when you don't win the playoff game, don't cry to me a river all the way back to week 1 because Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Because, yo, Aaron Rodgers was never truly a Jet. You can't just show up, have spotlight, hard knocks, hang out with at Swift Taylor's concert, go to the front row at the Knicks games. That's all fun and nice. We all know Favre's a diva. I mean, Rodgers is a diva. And Favre's on my mind because the Jets have done this once before in history. And that didn't work out either. And then you're going to sit there and tell me Favre wasn't Rodgers. Yo, Favre was Rodgers. Favre was every fucking bit Rodgers. Actually, Favre was better than Rodgers. How you like that? So anyways, whatever. A1, A2, both of them, right? Legends. The guy played 4 plays and took $75 million from you. Bottom line. Okay? Misfortune. They knew he was injured all preseason. You knew you were putting him behind a garbage O-line, and he was extremely worried about it. He spoke about it several times. So anyways, what'd you do? You went out and got Cook. And Cook is finished, my friends. Washed. You should have looked for a lineman. You should still be looking for a lineman because now you lost Tipman. You lost Vera Tucker. I mean, it's a problem. Zach Wilson's going to face one of the top defenses in football the last few weeks. And Wink Martindale has no problem throwing 5 kitchen sinks at you and then the water fountain out in the backyard also. So you're going to get blitzed all day long. And we're talking about Zach Wilson, brother. He's improving, but he still looks like he's 11 years old. And when it starts coming from different directions, you know that costly turnover or two is coming. Who's quartering for the Giants? I don't know. It should be Daniel Jones. This fan base is out of its mind if it wants Taylor. Because here's my thing. The next 9 weeks is not about winning, going to the playoffs, and making some delusional run to the championship. The Giants are not going there. Well, your next 9 weeks, the only one thing left to find out in this season, besides letting the young kids play, Banks hired these young guys, right? Check it out. You got to get Daniel Jones back on the field. Because the one thing you're going to find out in the next 9 weeks is, can Daniel Jones raise this team's level of play and give you enough confidence to be the franchise quarterback in the next few years? We're going into the 6th year next year, and we still don't know who the fuck is Daniel Jones. We don't know. You could sit there, tell me this, that, potential. Yeah, if we had a top 5 O-line. No, motherfuckers, we don't have a top 5 O-line, and we ain't going to have a top 5 O-line next year either. So you're going towards the 6th year, and we don't know if Daniel Jones is the guy. That is terrifying. Because as long as we flounder in the wind, average, a game below average, we're never going to get to what this fan base is foaming at the mouth and starving for. A contender. So your next 9 or 10 weeks in the NFL is, for the New York Giant fan base, is about one thing. Get Daniel Jones on the field. Get this O-line healthy. Schmitz, Thomas, Evan Neal. And guess what? We got to find out. Daniel Jones can raise this offense level of play and go win games. Are we playing meaningful games in the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season? Daniel Jones is going to dictate that. I don't need Taylor to show me that he could do that. I know Taylor's a good veteran, a smart guy, been in the league a long time. But Taylor's not your future. We got to find out right now, is Daniel Jones the future? Or are we drafting one of these quarterbacks in this coming draft? You have to know it. You have to know it now. And I'm good if we get a top 10 pick in trying to land a May or one of these quarterbacks anyway. Because Jones has 1 more year guaranteed only. And they did that. They made that contract with an out for a reason. Don't kid yourself. They knew this draft was coming next year. They knew it was a big-time quarterback draft. They say it's the most talented quarterback draft in 15 years. The Giants are not passing up on a quarterback. You could bet your bank and house on it. The Giants are drafting a quarterback. He may sit behind Jones for a year, may not. I don't know. We will see. That's what the next few weeks have to tell us. The next 2 months are about is Daniel Jones a guy that we have enough confidence in for the future and keep adding more O-line and pieces around him? Or is he not the guy and we're going to get our future young QB? And that's all that's left to salvage out of this season. Nothing else. Don't want to hear about win 8 in a row. We're going to the playoffs. Don't want to hear about these fairy tales. Oh, we got to beat the Jets, because it's a big game. Yeah, you could beat the Giants could beat the Jets. It's going to be a 16-13 game somebody. You could win that game. You could go on to beat the Raiders. You could beat New England. You could beat Green Bay at home. These are winnable games. Game in Washington's a 50-50. Who knows? You might see another tie. Can you get to late December? And can the Giants pick off 1 out of 3 games? One game versus Dallas, 2 versus the Eagles. Can they pick one of those off to sneak into a wild card spot? It's a reasonable dream. Although the Giants haven't showed us up to this point that they're that team. They could get healthy, especially along the O-line. We've had a lot of injuries. There are some excuses. But at the end of the day, one of the greatest coaches in history said, "You are what your record is." And that's true. Because even with injuries, even if you get healthy, it seems like when you're losing and losing as the season goes on, you continue to find ways to lose. You may win a couple in a row, but you're going to lose the big one that you're going to need later on. Because you burn yourself out trying to get back to 500. You are what your record is. And when you're winning and you're not that good of a team, but you're finding ways to win, that winning disease seems to stick with you also. We saw that with the Giants last year. The 31st is the trade deadline. And if the Giants lose to the Jets, Barkley's at the top of that list, believe it or not. We all love Barkley to death. There's not a person in Giant Nation that doesn't love 26. He's a beast. He's passionate. He gives his heart. He gives his all. And we are not the same football team at all when he's not on the field. But we're not ready to win a championship. We're not a contender at all. As a matter of fact, we're at the bottom of the league. These guys deserve to rebuild their team. They already started. There's a lot more to continue. Be realistic. We are in a rebuild. Barkley's been here a certain amount of years. He's missed games for injuries. They have showed you before the season that they are not going to pay him. And I don't think he's going to want to play on a tag next year. So you're facing a problem. If somebody calls you, and I heard 4 to 5 teams already have, and they want Barkley for a 3rd and maybe a 5th or a 6th, you got to make that trade. Now, you make believe you don't want to make the trade. That's why you heard these rumors about the team has no intentions of trading him. Bullshit. I call that bullshit. Because then you're going to drop the value. When teams know that you're dying to get rid of him, you're going to get a 4. When teams know that you're not going to get rid of him and comes day of the trade deadline and a team like Buffalo or Baltimore or the Browns can have a Barkley and put their team at the top because they are that close to finally winning a championship. You're talking about the Bills and Browns. They've never won Super Bowls. They're going to give it up to get him. You could steal it too. And even a 2 may not be a steal for a talent like Barkley. The guy's had injuries. They're starting to become more. He misses games. You have a negotiation that is not going to go his way at the end of the year. And you could end up losing him. And then what do you get? A 3rd round comp the following year, maybe? Listen, if you can make the trade at the deadline, if the Giants lose Sunday, I'm telling you right now, Barkley's gone. If the Giants win, they have a real Joe Shane while his phone is going to be ringing off the hook on Monday and Tuesday, even Sunday night. He won't be sleeping. He's going to have a real hard decision to make. The final decision is him and Dabble. And it's about the future. And if you could grab yourself 2 more picks, we only have 6 picks in next year's draft, and we all know that's not enough. You could draft another young running back at 20 in the 3rd round. You could draft a quarterback in the 1st round. You get yourself 2 kids, a foundation for the future with Hyatt. Cincinnati's interested in Waller. Do it. If you feel the season's not going to go far, and let's be honest, it doesn't look like it's going to, you do it. Cincinnati offers you a 3 for Waller, you do it. Even a 4. He's not the future of the Giants. There is no quick fixes anymore. Adoree Jackson's going to be wanted by several teams. He's a corner. He's a veteran corner that plays great football. The Buffalo Bills lost White. They're going to be ringing the bell. What do you get for him? A 4, a 3, a 4? I don't know. Get what you can. We got young corners and we'll probably draft another. Leo. Love the guy. You know, despite what people say he was injured last year, and he still played hard all year. Leo's a beast. You think that there are contenders in this league that don't want Leo Williams on their front 7? You're crazy. You get a 3 for Leo, take it. Or you can let him walk and get a 3rd round comp, but it won't be for what, 2 drafts from now? We need picks next year. If someone wants Leo for a 3rd rounder, it's time to move on, brothers. The Giants are not paying him next year. We all know that. If Pugh could be healthy, if Neal can still grow, and I believe he can, and if not, you move him over to guard, and I believe at guard, Neal will have a great career. If you could get Schmitz back, who looks like a fine center, we all knew he was going to be. Andrew Thomas, you can make the case as the 2nd best tackle in the NFL behind Trent Williams. If you could get these guys back on the O-line, brothers, we can really find out in the second half of the year what Jones is. Don't call simple plays. There's no dropping the ball off for 3 yards. It's all out down the field like Taylor's been doing. Because it's time to find out. Rip the shingles off. Let them know. You got 10 games to prove why we should go draft you a monster from Notre Dame on the O-line next year. Because right now, I'd be frank with him. We're looking at quarterbacks. I'm tired of fucking losing. I'm tired of being a loser. We've been losing for years, and we are a loser this year. A straight-up loser. I come out of last week's game. The defense played amazing. But I didn't come out of the game feeling good about the win because we barely hung on for our life. And I hated that shit. We should have had at least 10 more points on the board. It should have been a blowout. And Sterling Shepard. Don't let the Miz get to Shepard because you guys know. You want to call him a great giant? He's not a great giant. He never was a fucking great giant. What did he ever do to be a great giant? He's not a great giant. Is he an awesome person? Yes, he is. Is he a leader in the locker room? Yes, he is. Is he amazing that he's come back from every injury and tried hard and he's always there on the sideline to cheerlead and coach the players on the sideline and give them confidence and motivation, positivity, all that? Yes. I've been telling you for 3 years, Sterling Shepard is washed. He's finished. And now, what do? It's embarrassing, bro. It's humiliating. They reduced him to a punt returner who that they don't want returning punts. They just want him to fair catch the ball. Go out there, kid. Go grab us a fair catch. Wave your arm and come off the field. Get some cheers from the fans. Bro, that's embarrassing. And I guarantee you, Shepard behind closed doors doesn't like it. He's no longer the wide receiver he was. He lost several steps, not one. You think he's fast because he can run a straight 15-yard run? He can't cut no more, brothers. And every single time he gets tackled, 80, 90,000 of us in the stadium hold their breath that he didn't snap his knee yet again. Because we don't want to see this guy come off on another stretcher. Shepard's done. Yo, Slayton. I'm fucking tired of these names, man. Hodgins, Shepard, Slayton. Yo, Slayton's embarrassing, brothers. He tries hard, but no matter how hard he tries, he don't have the NFL talent. This is why the Giants can't fucking throw for 260 yards in a game. What do you get, 1 or 2 of those a year? Yo, Shepard's done. Hodgins, that guy belongs on an NFL team as the 4th or 5th wide receiver on the bench. You only come in once in a blue to give a guy who's nicked up a little bit of a rest. Slayton is not a top 3 or 4 wide receiver. And if he is your top 2 or 3 wide receiver on the team, that's why your offense fucking sucks. Straight cheese, brothers. I ain't sugarcoating it. I want to move on from those guys. I want Hodgins gone. Shepard retire. I don't even want Slayton here next year. And if he is, I don't want him higher than a 4th receiver. Enough is fucking enough. Go get a 1. You got hired on the other side as a 2. Wan'Dale Robinson can be a nasty slot receiver. We're good. We're good. Bellinger, if you keep Waller, great. If you decide to trade him, great. We'll get another tight end. Move on. Move on. For 5 fucking years we've been on YouTube. Move on from players. Move on from players. Draft O-lineman. Draft O-lineman. I hate to be the negative person out here, but I gotta give it the real, man. It's real. It's sickening, man. I expect us to win Sunday. What am I going to say? We're playing the Jets. But it wouldn't be mind-blowing if we lost. This game is a 50-50 game. If anything, right now, the Jets are the better team. But if you lose Sunday, not only is it going to be embarrassing to us, we're going to have to hear it from the little brother in town. You're going to hear it loud and fucking clear. And maybe that's the message this organization will need to make the right moves on Monday. And stack up picks for a monster-coming draft. Yeah, hate to say it. Week 7, Week 8. And we're looking forward to the draft. But let's be honest, we are. Because we know we don't have a contender. There's a couple of bright spots on this team. Yo, Banks is a beast. The bank is closed. We got a lockdown corner. Adoree should be playing the other side, not Trey. I believe that was a big mess up to start the season. A big mistake. The two linebackers are playing out their minds. You got Okereke, right? And you got McFadden. McFadden is a growing monster, rated #1 in the league at linebacker from Pro Football the last 2 weeks. I don't know if he was 1 last week. He was like in the top 5. This week he was ranked 1. Okereke is a monster, a machine. I love the way he plays. He's got that old school Giant mentality. So we got linebackers and we go draft one more. We might finally have the best team of linebackers by next year that we've had in over 20 years. Crazy, right? Maybe 30 years. That's a bright spot. Love Banks. We all know I've always loved Dexter Lawrence. He's a monster. And I think Kayvon Thibbs is still growing. But I think Kayvon Thibbs is hurting for not having Azeez on the other side. And now we got to go back to the other thing. Azeez is a bust. I'm fucking done with the guy. The guy sucks. I told you all last year that when he put on 15 pounds of muscle, a guy who works out religiously, you lose a lot of your athletic ability. You're not able to turn your body or be flexible. 15 pounds of muscle in one summer for a young guy can really hurt him. And let's be honest, it has. He's been nicked up and banged up for the better of 2 seasons now. He's a loser. He's unavailable. You don't like that I call a guy a loser? I don't call him personality a loser. I'm talking player-wise. He's turning into a bust. Be real. We need another defensive end next year. And because he's a bust, Kayvon's growth has slowed down. He's still putting up numbers, but he's not dominating in the fashion that we all thought he when he was drafted. It's still very early. Development stages. I give players 3-4 years to develop. But yo, we got to get another defensive end. Azeez is not the guy. Like, so far, it's so disappointing, man. And the front seven's playing great, nasty the last 2 weeks, and I hope it continues. And I think first a really bad Jets O-line and a kid-looking quarterback. If the Giants can contain Hall, the Giants can do damage this week to the Jets O-line. Playing good defense. And I'm going to call out a fucking guy right now, man. I'm going to call out a guy. I'm not going to call him a bust. I'm not going to call him a loser because expectations for this guy is sky. He's an extremely talented kid. He's still young. And he's shown flashes of being a great safety. But this year, it's been a major disappointment. He's done boneheaded plays, bad penalties, has not tackled well at all. Poor tackling, not even a strong two-hand touch push. He's been soft. That's the word for this guy. Xavier McKinney has been soft, and he's probably been the biggest disappointment on the New York Giants. I'm not going to give up on him. I still think he's a real good safety. He's got the rest of this year, and there's still a lot of season left to step back and be the number 29 we know. And I believe he will. I hope he will. Or it's a major, major loss. But, buddy, you ain't getting no monster contract as of right now next year. You got a lot to prove. And even though you came back last year and played hard in those 2 games, the Colts and the Viking playoff game, let's be real. That stupid, senseless injury to your arm on vacation, nobody's seen McKinney since, my man. On reality as a whole, you have not returned to yourself. And don't think that Joe Shane Dabble and the guys in the upper offices don't realize that. Yo, love talking my talk. Like talking about the Giants. Changes my mood, makes me feel good. And if it seems like I'm down and disappointed on the team, it's because I'm so passionate about the Giants. And my expectations are better than this. And I know the Giants can be better than this. And I'm fine with being patient and growing. But I gotta see the steps towards growing and developing. And to me, that means if you lose Sunday, and even if you win Sunday, it depends how you win. You got a monster decision for this Giants franchise's future coming up on Monday and Tuesday before the trade deadline. And I'm a believer that you got to go out at least and get another 1 or 2 picks. You have to. Even if it means getting rid of your one beloved player of all. I'm going to try to get back here later in the week, do my picks. I know I missed a couple of weeks. I'm the Miz.